Yes. Do you go by any other names? Monikers, pseudonyms, maiden, past? Names are important. They allow us to make connections, not just with other people, but for me, it's important. I can attach a name to a case, attach a name to an event. I can use that name to track down a criminal. I can use a name to protect someone. Names are very important. My name is Inspector Lunge of the BKA. I want to thank you for agreeing to speak with me about the case I'm working on. To be honest, I have no interest in what you've done or whether or not you actually did it. My focus is solely on the case of the fugitive, Dr. Tenma. And I'm to understand that you met with someone important to Dr. Tenma, and therefore important to my case. Who was it you spoke with? Oh. I'm sorry. That's how I store information. I input data onto my hard drive. It means that I can retrieve data whenever I need it, no matter how long ago it was, with complete accuracy. It's a technique I use to ensure that I can always make those connections between names and cases. The case involving Dr. Tenma is of special interest to me. I want to track him down, to talk to him, to understand him, understand what makes him do what he does. In order to find Dr. Tenma, I have to become Dr. Tenma. Do you understand? According to my hard drive, in your statement regarding your case, you met up with one Johan Liebert. Is that correct? Now, I must ask you, have you ever met the good Dr. Tenma? No. Well, I posit to you that in meeting this so-called Johan Liebert, you in fact have already met Dr. Tenma. My records tell me that Dr. Tenma and Johan Liebert are one in the same. A fractured mind, one capable of incredible good, the other capable of devastating evil. Now, you say that you met Johan Liebert. Ergo, you met Dr. Tenma. I'd like it if you could tell me about that meeting. Tell me about the time you met Johan Liebert. Talk to me about the time you met a monster. Tell me. What do you see when you look around you at everything here today? Do you see beauty? The verdant leaves. The mothers and fathers playing with their children. The animals crawling along the ground, climbing into the trees. What do you see? Do you see beauty? I see chaos. I see decay. I see consumption. Thank you for meeting me here. I hope that you like it. Before I tell you what I need to tell you, I would like to give you a piece of advice, if I may. Here, no matter how you go, how you die, whether you are hanged, buried, cremated, go head first. Go from here. You're worried about something. That's all right. Every living creature here is worried about something. People worry about things because they're frightened, because they're scared. They're scared of other living things, other living creatures. They're scared of not having what other people have, and so they worry. They compare themselves to others, the human to the human, the squirrel to the squirrel, the ant to the ant, and they worry. Does the human compare itself to the squirrel, or the squirrel to the ant? They should, because they're all the same, but different. There is only one equality in life. Only one way to be released from the worry of existence. To stop comparing oneself to another. To destroy the hierarchy of human, animal, insect. There is only one way to escape fear. Fear is life, defined by evolution, religion, or whatever you believe. Therefore, the only way to achieve true equality is through death. It's all right. I know that it's upsetting to hear. We spend so much time comparing ourselves to others. Envy, greed, jealousy, deceit. We do not like to hear that we already have those things, or that really we are precisely the same as those we covet. There is nothing to distinguish us from one another, let alone from the person to the squirrel to the ant. Nobody wants to hear that they are mundane, that they are a facsimile of everyone else. Nobody wants to admit the truth, that they are not unique, that we are all the same. And that similarity makes the lack of equality all the more painful. For if we're all the same, why do we have to suffer? To die does not mean death. I want to share with you a secret, something that will free you from fear, something that will stop you from comparing yourself to others, so that you can stop being an ant and you can become God. I only have one request. I shared a secret with you. You must do something for me. Not now. Maybe not tomorrow. But one day, you'll come to this park, and there will be a name written in the sand. That name is who you must kill for me. I know that sounds scary. And to a person, to an animal, to an insect, it would be. But you're different. You're special. And I'm going to tell you how. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a nameless monster. The monster was dying to have a name. And so, the monster set out on a journey to find one. But the world was a very large place. And so, the monster split into two and went on their way. One monster went east, the other went west. The monster who went east found a village. At the village's entrance, there lived a blacksmith. Mr. Blacksmith, give me your name, said the monster. I can't give you my name, replied the blacksmith. In return for giving me your name, I'll go inside you and make you strong, said the monster. Really? If you make me strong, I will give you my name. The monster went inside the blacksmith. Thus, the monster became Otto the blacksmith. Otto the blacksmith was the strongest man in the village. But then, one day, look at me, the monster inside me is getting so big, he said. Munch, munch, chomp, chomp, gobble, gobble, gulp. The hungry monster ate Otto from the inside out. Once again, he was a monster with no name. Then he went inside Hans, the shoemaker. However, munch, munch, gobble, gobble, chomp, chomp, gulp. Then he went inside Thomas, the hunter. But munch, munch, chomp, chomp, gobble, gobble, gulp. The monster was nameless once monster went to a castle where there was a sick boy. If you give me your name, I will make you strong, said the monster. If you make me healthy and cure my illness, I will give you my name, said the boy. And so the monster went inside the boy. The boy became full of vigor. The king was overjoyed. The prince is healthy. The prince is healthy. The monster liked the boy's name. He also liked living in the castle. So he restrained himself, even though he was hungry. Day after day, he would be terribly hungry, but he restrained himself. But the hunger became just too great. Look at me. Look at me. The monster inside me has gotten this big. The boy devoured the king and all his servants. Everyone was gone, so the boy went on a journey. He walked for days and days. One day, the boy came upon the monster who had gone west. I have a name. It's a wonderful name, said the boy. The monster who went west replied, I don't need a name. I'm perfectly happy without one. After all, that's what we are. Nameless monsters. The boy ate up the monster who went west. Munch, munch, chomp, chomp, gobble, gobble, gulp. At last, he had found a name. But there was no longer anyone to call him by it. Such a shame, because Johan was such a wonderful name. What do you think? I suppose you think that story is about me. Well, it isn't. It's about you. If you give up your name, lose it, or take someone else's, you are truly free. You are immortal. You will never die, but you will never live. You will be truly free from fear. And in the death of your name, equal to everyone else, you will be and squirrel, human, and God. Tell me, did you enjoy that story? I'm glad. And you will do that favor for me when I ask you to. Good. I would like to reward you, say thank you for being my friend, I would like to tell you a story that nobody has ever heard before. But you do not listen to this story with your ears. You listen here. Do you understand? Once upon a time, there was an old man. The old man lived on top of a mountain. At the bottom of the mountain was the most beautiful flower you have ever seen. Only nobody knew how beautiful it was, because it had never bloomed. This saddened the old man, and he would often pray to the gods of rain to let the raindrops fall and cascade down the mountain to feed the flower so that it could bloom and show the world how beautiful it was. But the rain never came, and so the old man sat on top of his mountain alone, imagining what the flower might look like if it were to bloom. Then one day, word came from the nearby town that the old man's family had all vanished, died. And the old man wept. To his surprise, as the tears rolled down the side of the mountain, they fed the flower at the bottom, and one little petal started to bloom. The old man, though upset, was overjoyed, and so he stopped crying. But then the flower stopped blooming. And so, the old man decided that in order to be happy and see the flower bloom, he would have to experience much, much more pain. And he made things happen to himself, those around him, so that he could feel the pain again, and so that he could cry and feed the flower at the bottom of the mountain, until the day came when the old man had hurt so much and cried so much that the flower bloomed. And then, in the instant that all the petals opened, before the old man could see, the flower decided to die. It wilted away, rotted, and vanished. So nobody saw the beauty of the flower, just the ugliness of the lonely old man. You're now free to do what you will. But when I call upon you, you must be there. Do you understand? Good. Goodbye. Until we meet again. one meeting with Johan Liebert, who you say is not indeed Dr. Tenma. One meeting with one man who told you a story. One person told you a story that you related to, that you understood, that made you feel less alone in the world. You felt no need for a name. In fact, Johan Liebert felt no need for a name. That, in the grand economics of life, the only thing that created equality was death. One shared experience common to all, avoided by none. One man told you a story about a nameless monster from an old Czechoslovakian book. Told you a story about a monster that turned you into a monster. He told you a story about a nameless monster. And this story led you to kill. And that is why you are in prison here in Munich. This is very interesting and not particularly helpful with my investigation. Still, I want to thank you for your time. Though you may believe this Johan Liebert to be real, I am still convinced that he is nothing more than a figment of Dr. Tenma's imagination. Furthermore, to provide veracity to this claim, it bears repeating that such a monster could never exist. Unseen, nameless. Such a demon is not real, for demons are not real. Therefore, you killed of your own free will, not under the direction of some strange boy who told you a story. The only fiction is the fiction that you tell yourself, and the denial of your own name. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions regarding the case, please forward them to my office at the BKA.